Court at the time, I was able to provide input on areas of concern that had arisen during the discussion, and my input essentially centered around what I'd noticed as a presiding officer within the school space, such as the uncertainty that existed amongst educators on the correct protocols to follow when they are alerted to an abuse of a child. So my journey with Nadal KZN grew from there, Chief Justice. I had the wonderful privilege of attending other seminars and events. One such event was held on the 20th of August 2022 with the theme, Learning Through the Lens of Women in the 21st Century. Upon reflection, I made the decision that my commitment to the vision and work of Nadal had to be concretized. The leadership
had to be?
Concretized. So
concretized.
That is, yes. The leadership of Nadal KZN invited me to address Nadal and the UKZN student chapter at the inaugural meeting on the 3rd of September 2022. I was also approached to provide a message of encouragement to the students at the University of KwaZulu-Natal on the 16th of September 2023. And on the 2nd of October 2023, I started serving as an acting judge of the Western Cape High Court. And I have not been able to further my participation with the activities of Nadal since serving in the Western Cape from there. So I can confirm that as we speak, my membership has not been renewed. I have listened to the interview yesterday, and in light of the possibility of me ascending to the ranks of a judge, it wouldn't be advisable to be a paid member, but I can still be affiliated, is my understanding.
But you were a judicial officer already. That's my concern.
Yes, I wasn't sure at the time, Chief Justice, whether it was permissible. I had made some inquiries, and I did see some involvement by other members, and it was again perhaps something that I wasn't fully aware of at the time. I now realized that it wasn't the appropriate thing to do, because I was told that it was okay, but clearly it was not. I have then decided that the membership shouldn't be concretized in that way. And so going forward, I will take a step back, Chief Justice.
All right. Whilst we are dealing with Nadal, in their submission, their review of your candidature, they have raised something about which this commission asked you exhaustively last time, but they raised it again, so I yes. suppose we might just as well get it out of the way. Just very briefly.
Thank you.
We'll deal with it briefly. They raised the fact that during an acting stint in 2018, you made a ruling which aided a senior Democratic Alliance politician who is her cousin, in their words. Yes. You've previously given an explanation for that.
I did.
Would you mind doing so again?
Not at all, Chief Justice. So what I did this time, for the benefit of the commissioners, was to attach my extempore judgment that will hopefully assist in trying to understand how I had approached the matter. So this was a semi-urgent matter that was assigned to me as an early allocation, which was set down for hearing on the 19th of June 2018. In brief, the applicants, who were councillors of the Beaufort West Municipal Council, sought an order declaring that the resolution taken on the 26th of February 2018 to remove them from office are null and void, together with an order restoring the status quo ante of the executive mayor, the deputy mayor, and the speaker of the Beaufort West municipality. The crisp issues which I was called upon to determine essentially centered around whether the meeting held on the 26th of February 2018, where the resolution was adopted, was was legally convened and constituted in terms of the applicable legislative provision in the Rules of Order. The Structure Act 117 of 1998 and the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa. I prepared and dealt with the matter as I would all matters allocated to me.
Ms. Andrews,
Yes.
you don't need to go through all that.
Oh,
All I
okay.
want to know is whether you are aware that your cousin was involved in the matter when
No,
you
I was not,
adjudicated it.
Chief Justice. Again, I've indicated, as I did on the last occasion, the first time that I was alerted to this was when a news article about a week later was published, and this was then raised therein. This obviously got me very anxious about what had happened. I had no idea at the time that this matter had any type of impact on him as being my cousin. I do want to say, though, that in terms of my background with my cousin, my family history, and I would like to become a bit vulnerable, if I may, to the commissioners, it stems back from my childhood, where my mom and dad were divorced when I was 6 years old. I was raised by my mother, and so that my cousin is a cousin on my dad's side. He's 17 years younger than I am, so we never really grew up together. His political career, as I understand it, became known and in the spotlight about 3 years prior to me writing this judgment. In terms of me having any type of connection to him on any other level apart from seeing him on occasion in the news highlights, there is no other connection. Having said that, so nothing alerted me from the papers that he was in some way, manner or form connected. However, on reflection and in hindsight, I ought to have applied more introspection. It should have sparked a light bulb, and I admit to that. And I take to heart the critique that was raised, and it was a learning curve for me. I can give the Commission every assurance that I take my oath of office seriously. My lens has been sharpened, and I've grown in judicial maturity. And if anything, this learning experience has made me a better judicial officer. If you would look at the judgment that I delivered, Commissioners, you will see that my lens was on the Constitution and the rule of law. I was of the firm belief that the rule of law was breached. The decision was predicated on the principles of legality to some extent. And so, again, if one looks at what had happened and the building blocks upon which the rule of law is predicated, a transparent government is what the Constitution demands. And it is for those reasons that I obviously made the ruling. That is the lens through which I viewed it, and there was no influence at all in my decision that it would have, the outcome would have assisted my cousin in any way. I have apologized to the previous judge president for my oversight and for my lack of judgment. I have erred, and I will do better. Thank you, Chief Justice.
Thank you. Back to your illustrious CV. You have undergone training in arbitration, so you have a course in well,